Hello guys, welcome to my second video here on my channel. Today I'm going to be building more of my Let's Play series on the city that I'm building. New Canada is the title I called it. So right now I'm going to be just adding on to my industrial area just to declog the traffic that kind of started here. And next I'm just going to solve a few issues in the city that arose from last time. And I'm just going to tinker around and change all the houses along the highway here, and I'm going to turn it into, well, just a half for now. I'm going to turn it into commercial buildings, and then later I come back and I put all the rest of the houses that were along the highway, and I turn that into commercial. Now I did that for two reasons. Now this little town called Schmuckville that I needed more commercial inside the city, and I needed noise pollution to go down. So I put it along the highway, and then that's going to help alleviate the health system so people won't be sick because of the noise pollution, and also have more jobs. And now what I'm doing is I'm adding onto the highway, I'm adding a vanilla intersection there, and I'm just going to make another city down the road over the train tracks, or under the train tracks is actually the route I choose to take. As you see here, I'm putting the highway directly under the train tracks. Uh, Now, this little hillside town that I'm building here in this episode, I I built it. It's going to be on and over the train tracks. The train track loops around. It's nighttime. You can't really see it right now, but it comes back around, and I have to weave my town in and around the train tracks and this mountain. And I try to come up with a clever routing system for the roads. I don't know whether or not I like it yet. I think I want to tinker around a few things. Maybe we'll have like a house cleaning episode where I just go through all the things that I want to change in my little towns that I've set up, and then just do that all in one episode, and maybe just do it in real time, and instead of this stop caption time lapse that we're doing right now, I might do it that differently instead. So what I'm doing now is that clever system that I told you guys a minute ago. I'm just tinkering around with it now. It takes me a while to finally figure out what exactly I want to do with the layout, but I end up going with like a little Y pattern, one-way roads, and it's really weird to really look at first. In fact, I actually was not very happy with the way it was turning out at the start. So you see how you come into the highway and there's literally just two one-way roads while you're going. So I have to have a one-way road coming back in order to complete the loop. And eventually I figure out how I want to do it. I'm kind of just laying things down randomly right now. I do have an idea of what I want to do. I kind of want to have like a Y that stretches into another Y where you can get throughout the city or into the city very easily. And then out of the city, I want to have um, various ways to getting out. Um, I have one way now that I figured out for the rest of the video. That road I just put in there, I switched the direction, and that's the out for the city. So that can kind of give you guys an idea of what happens. I switch that probably later in the video. So what I have here is I made a route under the tunnel there. I switched that later too because that's obviously a one-way, can't go into that, and I have a tunnel that leads to that. So what I call this little hillside village, it actually turns out to be quite decent in size and density. I call it Tunnel Hills. I thought it was appropriate because there's just so many tunnels, and it's like a tunnel themed town, and it's on side of a hill. And I actually do build a road that goes a dirt road that goes up the mountain, and it kind of weaves up and over and then down half of the other side, and then I build houses on it, and people seem to like it. I build a park at the top, and it's nice. I'm probably going to be doing that in a minute or so. It's hard to remember exactly how the time lapse went. I played this video game session about a day or two ago, and I'm just finishing the recording right now. So my memory is not all the sharpest. In here, earlier I told you guys that I'm switching the direction. I'm just having difficulty switching it, just getting a feel for the game again after coming back to it after a long time. And even just sitting down after one day, it just feels like I lost feel for the game. I don't know. And tell me if you guys play this game and then after not playing for a few days, you don't know what the buttons do anymore. Let me know if you have that feeling. I definitely have that. So now I'm putting in that tunnel that I told you guys. I switched the direction of that street to a one-way in the opposite direction. And now I'm putting in a tunnel in order to go under and over to get to the left side of the city. And I will let you guys know now, at the end of this episode, there is no left side of the city. It's all, I build the right side today, and I actually just leave that left side exactly the way you just saw me finish it right now. That left road that went down to the left side of the screen, that one way. So I'm not quite certain what I'm doing just yet right now. I'm going to put in some just sorting out the one-way street there, making it so that way people can turn onto the busy roads and then have separate lanes to go into the right side of the city. I have a little garbage problem in the city and people are sick, so I have to do a little tinkering with the budget, and I put in a dump eventually. And yeah, so what my goal is, I only have 3,000 population right now, or just over right now, and I want to hit 7,000 in order to have access to high density residential, commercial, and office buildings. So my goal is to just, get more low density residential buildings into Tunnel Hills. So what I end up doing is next, after tinkering with the road system here, I end up putting in the houses that go up the mountain, the spiraling road that goes up the mountain with the houses. So that's going to be the next thing that I'm going to be doing, just to get the 7,000 residential that I need, because Smuckville was not enough to hit the population that I needed. And actually, the garbage little mishap actually killed the population briefly, and it took me a hot minute to get the population back to where I needed it to be. So yeah, right now I'm starting that road that I told you guys about, and it's going to start there, and there's only one road in. I don't know if that's a bad idea. I like it aesthetically with only one road in. It takes me a few tries to get the road the way I want it, and I eventually start getting a feel for how I like it, and then just start weaving it up. Maybe eventually when I have the Tinker episode, I'll come back and I'll put in some flowers and stuff. And I just wanted to put a cool bridge there. I thought it'd be cool. And then I end up there. And I come back later and I make it slightly bigger, not too much bigger. It's pretty much that size for the rest of the episode. It's just a little bit bigger. So now I want to make a full system for Tunnel Hills, like the main downtown area. So that side of the train tracks is going to be the low density residential, and on the left side of the train tracks, or the upper portion of the screen, that's going to be the high density area, with some high density on the lower portion of the train tracks as well. I eventually build that, and I'm not happy with the high density area I do build right just yet, and I think tinkering will be something that needs to be done a lot of in this town. I just kind of build willy-nilly and with very few plans in mind. Although at this point in the video, I'm not happy with how it's turning out. Although after I put in the mountainside village, I was a little happy with that, and things started to click a little bit. But I'm overall not quite happy with how things are going at this point in time. And I will tell you this now, at the end, I'm fairly happy with how it turns out. I don't know if I'm crazy or not, but you guys can be the judge of that at the end of the episode. Stay tuned for that. And I'm just connecting power where power is needed temporarily, because yeah, they need power, and I can't wait for the buildings to build so that way they connect themselves. I need it connected now, so I did that. And it looks like Schmuckville and the industrial area are healthy after I fixed the garbage and health issue. And we're still quite profitable, so we're doing quite well. Look, we're making $4,000 and we're almost at $1 million. Pretty crazy. Never really planned to make a lot of money in this town. And in fact, the trial town that I made went bankrupt like almost immediately, and I'm actually quite surprised how well I'm doing in this one. Mind you, I think I'm doing well because I put in so many dirt roads, and the road maintenance is very low, so I'm able to use the savings there to pay for the expenses of the rest of the city, which is really nice. So I'm fixing the bus routes here. So this at the end of the last episode, or towards the beginning or middle of the episode, I mentioned that I did not like bus routes. So here's what I decided to do. I realized that I don't want the buses being clogged up one of the only routes into Schmuckville. So what I end up doing is making a route that goes onto. So I want the stop to be on like a street that doesn't mean anything. That's just kind of like a no exit street. So if a bunch of buses are on there, it's just the people that live on there that are kind of congested. So I feel like clogging up that street with a lot of pedestrians and a lot of buses is not a problem. And then I'm like, holy cow, that's a lot of buses. So I think I go into the budget, or I might have already done that, or I might do that eventually. So I'm putting in another bus route. I believe. I thought I was putting in another bus. I might have already fixed both the bus routes. So I'm just figuring out the district areas. So this is roughly how big I plan on making. Well, it says Chester Hills right there, but this is Tunnel Hills. I believe I changed the name right after I zone out the area. Plan on making it actually go a little bit bigger on the top of the screen all the way to the boundaries, maybe. Yeah, because I already build out there later in the episode, so I might have to go. I already went and changed it actually, I believe, maybe off camera. So I put in some rules. They have to restrictions on their water, on their electricity. I later changed both of those because it becomes expensive once the high density rolls in. Fire detectors distributed. I keep that, and recreational use, so they can smoke weed if they want to, which is always encouraged. No, 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 no. It's not always encouraged. Kids don't, like, not for kids. Don't drive. It's not always encouraged. So just, I'm gonna backtrack on that statement. Pretend like it never happened. So now I'm putting in a school. I think this is a school. No, this is a fire or police station right now. I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I get good coverage with the police when everything's a one-way street and it's all weird? So I end up putting it there. Don't know if I'm going to get the best coverage there. I might have to end up changing it. Although I will end up expanding the city, so maybe there is a fine spot considering the future expansions that will happen. And just putting in some water, and now I'm putting in electricity. Like I said earlier, couldn't wait for the high density area to build up to give the police station power. Needed power there now. So I believe I later delete those power lines, and I think what I'm doing now is I'm coming in and I'm going to change those residential houses alongside the highway. Oh no, not doing that. I apologize. I will do that very shortly though, or perhaps towards the end of the video. So what I'm doing now, finishing the educational stuff for Tunnel Hills, and I'm just putting in all the essential services and all that. I'm just really looking for a good spot to put everything. So I put a library, an elementary school, and a high school all right next to each other. I'm thinking maybe I'll come back and put a park near there. Oh, I put a park over there. Not certain if I like this area right now. I end up putting in a little, spaced out grid system. I don't want it to be too dense. I want some trees and less noise pollution and like a overall better quality of life, even in the dense areas of my city. I don't want things to get too dense. Maybe in a few areas I'll make it pretty dense. Like Schmuckville's a little dense in a few areas, and that industrial area is probably the most dense part. Although it's quite small, one of the most dense parts of my city so far. Although I do put in a few dense areas later in this episode. So just addressing the garbage problem. I'm probably just gonna get rid of a few dumps and maybe put in some more incinerators for the garbage because I just want the garbage to be self-sufficient, and overall it's not fun maintaining the garbage for a large portion of the game. I don't like doing that. I don't know if you guys mind it or not, but I don't like maintaining the garbage for a large portion of the game. So you can kind of see how the city's starting to grid out now. I later add on an expansion to the right side, the upper right side of the screen there. Well, you can't really see now where that grass is at the top. I put in a little dense area there. And right now I'm putting a little junction just to make it so you can loop back around in the city. I later put a bus loop that comes around all of Tunnel Hills, and then it comes up and around there. Now it looks a little sloppy. I don't know if I'm going to change that or not. Maybe I might be able to make up something a little more clever. I do like how functional it is. I don't like the look of it, so maybe I'll come in and make it look a little bit better off camera, and it'll look pretty nice. So there I did that early. I did what I told you guys earlier. I fixed the residential there, and that later flourishes and becomes really good. And I think Schmuckville is going to be a really good place for the entirety of this city series. I think Schmuckville is pretty good. I feel like I had to put in a quality first episode, and I could have just kept adding and adding and adding, but I didn't want it to get too dense, and I feel like I stopped at a good point. And I don't know if Tunnel Hills, with the later expansions to future town areas that I build, I don't know if it'll get really, really busy and I'll need to solve the traffic problem. I'm thinking what I'll have to do is put an underground highway in at that roundabout that goes into Tunnel Hills and then go into the mountain and then turn all the way into future expansions of the city, where I'll have to buy the panels for that later. So I just built that area that I told you guys about earlier, just a little small expansion to the hill area of Tunnel Hills. And now I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put in some commercial areas, some industrial areas, and then wait until I get 7,000 citizens, so that way I can get high density. And I don't really care about the park not having power. I'm putting in the bus line right now. I actually think that my bus services, although I just noticed something now. I don't have it to the school, although that's kind of close enough to the school. They can walk. It's not that far of a walk. I might put in paths. I should put in a few paths actually around Tunnel Hills for walking, because I feel like that's a pretty good walking city. People will be walking a lot if I do that. Maybe some walking bridges over roads and just to ease up traffic and stuff. So later I'm going in and I'm naming the bus lines now, just to try to give me an idea of where they go. So one goes from from Tunnel Hills to Schmuckville to the industrial area. One from Tunnel Hills to um, one around Tunnel Hills, one around Schmuckville, and one from Schmuckville to the industrial area. Now, I don't know if I'm getting too redundant with my bus routes. I don't plan on adding any more until I get another area. Maybe when I get another industrial area in a different area, it might make sense to change the bus route. Maybe not. Maybe I put in some quality bus routes and they turn out to be pretty good for the entirety of the city. I'll make adjustments as needed as the game requires me to do it. So I'm just about to roll over 7,000 citizens in my city, and then I can put in some high density residential areas. So I'm pretty excited for that. I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting on that, even though the demand for residential isn't actually high. I do want to put in quite a bit of high density commercial as well. So what I'm getting ready for myself rolling over 7,000 right now, and I'm putting in the roads for the high density area that I put in. And I also put offices down here too. So high density offices, high density residential, high density commercial. Obviously, there's only one office type. I don't think it's called high density office. I just like to call it that. Excuse me if it's completely wrong. So I'm basically just trying to meet the demands without expanding too fast. And I do have a lot of gridded out land that doesn't have a purpose right just yet, and that's kind of risky to do if you're doing a new city. But luckily for me, I have a good starting city that's been generating a lot of money. So I'm able to fall back on a lot of cash, and I'm able to just build really quick, as long as I stop That's why I want to have a tinker video, in order to allow my bank to recover, allow for my economy to balance out, maybe let the first wave of dying citizens happen. I know that's pretty bleak. So that was my taxes there. I never touched it since the beginning of the game. Um, I think that's a lot of the reason why I'm succeeding in this city, because I haven't touched that, and it's just well balanced right from the start. Um, don't need to touch it, so I won't. I will touch it if I have to later, but for the most part, I don't. I really don't want to touch that. I kind of want to fix my problems with um, with the game instead of tinkering with the budget. I want to make my city self-sufficient. I want to take it slow, even though I'm kind of in fast build mode right now. I am going to take my foot off the gas and let the coolers cool the engine off, before I hit the pedal again and wait for the bank account to recover financially too. Yeah, so I'm not going to be doing these massive projects aggressively when I don't have the funds to do it. Now I do have a lot of money. I was getting close to $1 million before I started building the city, and I still have over $500,000 right now. So we're doing pretty good. So I'm starting to slow back down right now, and I don't actually zone that high density area at the top of the screen, top right. I'm just tinkering and tinkering, tinkering. I do zone it now though, I believe. Now see, there's only one entrance there. You can't see it now. See, it's hard to control. See, there's only one entrance in there. What I end up doing over by the tunnel at the right there, I put a walking track in off camera, so that should get people walking through the city. What I might end up doing is having like little walking paths over the train tracks. That would be cool, with various access points, and then maybe crossing over so people can have really good walking access across the city. So now I'm at 9,000 people. I put in some high density stuff, and we're just rolling over the thousands one by one by one pretty quickly there. So yeah, as I'm watching the video, I find things that I want to tinker, and things that I just haven't thought of yet. Like there's just so many things that you have to put into a city, and it's hard to think of everything while you're actually doing the gameplay. And I did this gameplay in the morning when I was pretty tired on a day where I didn't get the best of sleep, and it didn't really change the gameplay that much, but I just didn't want to think. I just wanted to shut off my brain and just do nothing. Not do nothing, but just play and have fun. So it wasn't really a problem, but I just wanted to have fun with the game and just kind of shut off and enjoy my day and not have to think too intensively over a video game just because it's a video that I was planning on doing. So I'm looking at the land value, and I'm looking at the coastline. I really want to build a city on that coastline. So I'm kind of I'm trying to creep my way there. I'm very close. I don't know if the next area I'll do will be along that. Maybe in a couple videos I'll get there. I'm thinking maybe an industrial area might be what's required for this city. Else, like not where the industrial area is that I have right now, but elsewhere. Um, I want to put an industrial area far away from my other industrial area in order to ease the traffic flow. So that's my strategy there. So that's what I plan on doing. Um, so that might be the next step for the next video, or the Tinker video. Perhaps the next video I'll do the industrial area, and then the video after that I'll do the the Tinker video, where I just go in real time and I just go around fixing things that I deem that need to be fixed or changed or tinkered with. That's my plan. So I'll do one more time lapse video between now and that Tinker video in real time. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you're listening this far, you probably liked it. Anyways, hope you guys have a good day. Please check out my first video, and please come back for my next video. See you guys next time.